So I just want to share really how cutting out sugar made a big difference in my life, in terms of my anxiety levels, and how it's actually easier than you may think to cut it all out if you do it in steps. So basically, when I was, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, I used to have really bad anxiety in general. So obviously I had the normal social anxiety, but after I left college, I pretty much became like a social recluse, really. I would just stay at home. I was too afraid to really leave the house. I mean, the idea of going out the house and going to the shops even was something that was like scary and too much for me really to even do it. There was even points and quite often in that period where I would hide from someone who even came to knock at, say if someone just came to knock at the door, like a postman or someone to deliver a package or anyone really, I'd hide. I'd run off, or I'd just make sure that they didn't think I was in. I would hide away. My anxiety got so bad. And I wouldn't have like panic attacks or anything, but I just stayed away from any sort of situation that caused me any anxiety. And it got to a really bad point. And in regards to sugar, this is what I want to talk about. At that time, I was very much, I mean, most of my life really, because I was quite active when I was young. I had a bit of a sweet tooth, so I ate a lot of sweet stuff. Pretty much every day I'd have some sort of like sweet based things like chocolate bars. I like sweets, I don't know, cakes, cupcakes, I don't know, any sort of like sweety chocolate cake or sponge or bar, whatever it was, I'd have it. And a lot of sugary processed stuff as well. So at that time I wasn't exercising anymore, I wasn't playing sport anymore, and I was still eating the same stuff, the sugary stuff. And it just wasn't good for me. And one day I was reading up all about anxiety and stuff, and one day I just decided to reduce my sugar. I didn't go cold turkey, but I just decided to reduce it just a little bit. And I noticed a significant difference, albeit not completely. Obviously anxiety's still there, but I did notice a significant difference. I was able to like socialise even with my family, because that was difficult for a while. I reduced sugar quite a lot, and then within like a few months I completely just took sugar out of my diet completely, so I wouldn't have any sugary stuff, any cakes, sweets, chocolate bars, none of that really. I wouldn't have any of that. And even to this day, that was probably like 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, I don't have sugar in my diet, not even on special occasions, to be honest. I mean, rarely, I do sometimes, but I don't crave it anymore. I don't have any cravings. I just don't have it, and I don't miss it, not particularly, because I just hate the feeling that I had when I used to have it. I used to feel terrible, physically like ill, bad stomach, stuff like that, and obviously that affects your confidence, affects your self-esteem, which obviously heightens and worsens your anxiety. So that's one tip, pretty much, is just if you do struggle with anxiety, even if it's like mild, but if it's severe, then that is certainly one thing that had a very significant impact on my anxiety levels. They reduced, I would say, maybe by a half. I mean, that's significant. So yeah, another tip for me is, if you want to not rely on your willpower, because it's quite hard when you're changing a habit just to rely on your willpower. One thing that really helped me was just the phrase "out of sight, out of mind." So if you don't have any sort of sugary food in your kitchen, you're less likely to go in and get it. If you have it in your kitchen, if you have it in your cupboards, you're more likely to just grab it without even thinking. So just make it easier for yourself. Just don't buy it. So it's out of sight, out of mind. If it's not there, you're not going to eat it. So that's one tip that I use, and I don't have any sort of that stuff in my house. Even if I do sometimes with people in my house, like my brother or whatever, I still don't have it now because I've established the habit of not having it. So yeah, for you, if you really want to reduce your anxiety, try cutting out sugar. Just reduce it and see how it goes.